Welcome, everyone. Welcome to this spectacular webinar.
Yeah, so it's Halloween, which means do we have tricks or treats, team? What are we going with?
We have tricks on how to use the lead portal, and we have treats on with tips. I don't know where I was going with that.
No, I love it. That's exactly right. That's exactly right. We'll give everyone a few minutes to log on here. So I thought this might be kind of fun, right? The day or eve before Halloween, and I see all kinds of stuff going on social media and LinkedIn, and everyone's all in different costumes and whatnot. So here we go. I am the figure sales success rock star today. How's that?
I like
Uh,
that.
yeah, rock on. There you got it. Oh, look, I went and got some new ink too.
Nice. I like
Well,
it.
tons of people are logging on. Listen, everybody, just a couple things here. One, we love these webinar sessions because we always have time, and we'll certainly the intention is to have the same today, time to really dive into some Q&A. What we're going to do today, speaking of tricks and or treats, is we are actually going to be revisiting how to just simply log into the lead portal and quickly run an inquiry. Now, to be clear, we're not going to dive into every little aspect of running an inquiry. We simply want to demonstrate how quickly it can be done. At the end of the webinar, we can actually have conversation about tricks. And then what I want to share with everybody is sort of what's going on in the market perspective right now, and why is this product offering along with our tech so potentially powerful for all of your homeowners and past clients, future clients, in the sense of interest rates. They've been a little volatile, right? Ever since the Fed lowered rates by a half, interest rates have been very volatile. However, make no mistake, the need is real. Folks still need cash, whether it be debt consolidation, number one use case, by the way, or home improvement, whatever the case might be. Reef, your camera just went off for some reason. Anyway, I want to demonstrate a comparison as to what it looks like for somebody that might have that 4%, sub 4% existing loan, comparing that to a cash out refinance with today's pricing versus just adding a HELOC product to the back end and looking at it from a blended rate perspective. And Alex, you've got your magic hat on, so I think you're also going to demonstrate for us what does it look and feel like when we don't get offers. Is that right?
That is absolutely correct. We're going to take a look at that. You know, this is actually a real top hat, 200 years old, made out of beaver felt. That's my fact for the day. Not a
Wow.
costume. This is me
All
getting
right.
something together quickly. So
Well, all right.
let's take a look at the lead portal. So first thing I want to take a look here, Tim, we got a whole bunch of people on this webinar. If you have never, ever in your entire life logged into our lead portal system, now is the time to, and I want to make a reminder for that. So the URL for that I'm putting in the chat is figure.com/lead portal. The first time you ever log in, if you have never logged in before in your life, you're going to have to do what's called forgot password. You will enter in your email. You will click login. You'll enter in your email. You will then click forgot password. It'll email you the steps to reset your password to what you like, and then you'll get in. If you have any difficulties with that at all, well, it depends on how your organization set you up. We'll talk kind of more about, some ways to reach out to us, schedule time with us, things of that nature. Especially if you're a first-time user, I highly suggest you reach out to us. You sit down with us one-on-one, talk, hey, I got a question here. I want to know how this works, that kind of thing. But make sure you log in, make sure you set up your profile, and we're very quickly going to go through an inquiry together. We're going to talk about it, and then I'm going to show you what happens when no offers generate, because it can happen. All right, Tim, let's go ahead and start a new inquiry here. I'm going to hit new lead. You want to go through an inquiry, the full thing, or do you just want it to fail right away? How do you feel here?
No, let's go ahead and do one where we have offers in there. Let's just go ahead and quickly demonstrate that. Just as a recap, we may have a lot of existing users, but if you have not, really what I want to demonstrate here, everybody, is this is literally going to be a minute or two of your time to find out what, if any, HELOC offers your borrower has.
So the first thing we're going to do an inquiry to see if someone pre-qualifies, we're going to enter the property address for financing. Going to drop down to make it easy. We're going to put in the occupancy type. We can do secondary investment, and we can also do properties listed for sale. So we're going to make those selections. We're going to be putting in the borrower's information, first and last name, date of birth, phone number. Make sure that this is their legal name, no nicknames or anything like that. And then we're going to be putting in their total annual income. Now, I said annual, not monthly. Keep that in mind. Very important. Other things, gross income, put in their gross income, put in bonus, put in overtime. Give them the benefit. We want to lend to them. Now, for community property in homestead states, hey, double check to make sure, because we can include the spouse's income. And the strength of that is we don't, pull credit on the spouse. So in this case, I make 100,000, my wife makes 100,000, $200,000 gross yearly income. We're good to go. Another really big thing here under other income, this can be investment, rental, savings, retirement. I helped someone this week with an IRA, things of that nature. And a really nice thing, they don't even need to be pulling any form of disbursement from here. We got fun magical calculations in the form of Halloween spirit that it's going to pull that information. So they're just going to need to link their online accounts. So as long as they have those in a form of an online account, something like a Fidelity account, they're good to go. Then you'll go ahead and select the employment type. You're going to describe the source of the lead. It doesn't affect offers. It doesn't really matter what you select, just for data collection. And then you're going to give permission for a soft credit pull. We're going to hit continue. We're going to confirm this information. And you're going to know right now, in about a minute or two, someone pre-qualifies.
Yeah, maybe even less, right? Of course,
Yeah.
we are in a test environment. Yeah, so you never know. Sometimes that takes a little while. While we're waiting for that Reef, I don't know what you got going on there. You got is it Dr. Reef today? Is it?
Yeah, exactly. Specifically from the COVID age. If you guys remember, we used to talk like this a lot of times. But yeah, bringing it back.
Please don't. All right. Now, in this example, we have pre-qualified offers. So we can see here the full amount that they're going to get. Again, it's a full disbursement. Use the slider, select how much they want. $100,000, 5 business days. I always say that's pretty good. We have an origination fee that you shouldn't confuse with comp. We can select either way. It's a rate buy down. So the higher the origination fee, the lower that fixed rate's going to be. And we're going to be able to select the term, fully amortized loan, principal plus interest payments. We'll be able to see the full breakdown, have a conversation with our borrower. To the test website, don't look at the numbers too closely, but you get the idea. You're going to see a full loan breakdown. There's never any cash to closing, and there's not a lot of fees. There's an origination fee and maybe a manual notary fee. We'll have that grand total there for them with their monthly payments.
Yeah, so that is the happy path, everybody. And Alex even went a little deeper on some of the explanations, but you can see how fast that took place. And actually, there was a question already in the chat. Is everything on the webinar basic? And I know, Reef, you might be, we always like to revisit the basics. Dan asked the question. However, if you have a question, want us to dive into something deeper, maybe you're having a concern or an issue, definitely put that question in here and I want to address it. Now, Alex, let's show everybody what happens when in fact you don't have an offer, because everybody that's on the call, one of the things that we commonly deal with is loan originators will reach out and say, hey, I should have had an offer. I don't understand why. Well, we believe that so many of us don't know where to go look to find the why. So I really want to show one that does not get offers and how you can quickly assess as to what the why behind that is.
All right, so I ran a new inquiry. I put in my information. Let's see what happens. Well, it looks like, fortunately, in this case, there were no offers because I put $20,000 as their yearly income amount. So we get an asset depletion screen here. So what we can do is we can restate the income. We have asset accounts here we can state, or some of you may have the ability to have that direct debt payoff feature we have to where they can go ahead and pay off debt. And so in this screen, it's saying, hey, we can pay off debt to generate offers. I'm not going to pay off debt. I don't want to pay those off. I want to see what happens. Oh, no products are available.
Yep,
Tim, what are
no
we doing
products
here?
are available. And by the way, team, this is when we oftentimes get an email like, says no products are available. I don't understand. The borrower has an 800 FICO and 20% LTV, and I don't understand. So go ahead and go back to the pipeline, Alex. So are you going to refresh it there?
Sorry, I was talking out loud there.
Okay, so it's showing incomplete if that's the one you just did there, right, Alex? Or is it going to come back and show?
Why is it doing that? Who knows? It's a test site.
Typically would say no offers there.
Yeah,
Can you go back a screen, please, Alex? I
absolutely.
want to make sure everyone sees this. Folks, listen, when you're in your pipeline view, there is a box with 3 little dots on it to the right-hand side. This may seem very, very basic, but it is interesting that so many of us miss this. Click on that box, please, Alex, with the 3 little dots. Now click details. Now you are in looking at a file and you're looking at all of the parameters of the file. If there was a decline reason, it would show up here on the upper right, right underneath application progress. It would tell you exactly what the decline reasons are. The first thing to always check, especially if you're seeing a DTI issue, is was the stated income there on the lower left, was that actually an annual number entered or was it a monthly number? It can sometimes literally be that simple. You will also see your AVM value. And I don't know if this file that you, oh yeah, did you? Yeah, sure enough. Wow, look at that, Alex. 1.65 million.
Nice house.
Yeah, so you will see the AVM value here. You'll see the stated DTI. You'll see the pre-loan CLTV, FICO score, so on and so forth. While on this screen, obviously, if there's no offers, you'll see the definition as to why here on the upper right. If there were offers, the borrower has clicked on the link and progressing through the application. Each of those boxes on the right-hand side, those milestones will start to turn green with green check marks once they've been completed. If they've not got a green check mark in them, well, then they haven't been completed and they are still working through that on the pipeline.
You'll also have a fun AVM appraisal document if you ever want to look kind of deeper at the AVM. Just keep in mind it is an AVM itself. Crazy. All right.
Yes, I love it. By the way, Alex, I want to time out here for just a second and I want to answer. You can go ahead and keep sharing. Well, that's up to you. We can go back to your screen if we need it. I want to go ahead and answer some of these questions ahead of time. Jason Brothers, my man, great comments there. Jason Brothers and I go back quite a ways, long before Figure actually, and he's a huge user and believer and knowledge base of this product. So Jason, thanks for being on the call, buddy. Then we have another question. I'm in Texas, had a loan disqualified because of warranty deed with a vendor's lien. There were no other liens on the property. We are actually testing right now, just so that you know, Deanna, in this case, a new lien match logic. And you're absolutely correct, Deanna, that this absolutely is a bigger issue in Texas of all places than it is anywhere else. Alex, would you agree with that? Like that's where we see.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So we're actually testing about 50% of our files right now today are going through this new lien match logic. And Texas, everybody, it's a different machine, right? And so just to give you an example, let's say that someone's existing lien on the property, even if they did the loan 3 years ago, if that existing loan on that property in Texas was cash out, you won't get offers with a HELOC. It's prevented, okay? If you see lien match issues, please involve us with this. We're actually taking this very, very seriously and looking at that. So Deanna, you might want to reach out to us offline, connect, give us some file numbers, examples. Let's dive in because I want to make sure the engineers and the product team see what is or isn't happening with this new lien match logic that we charge are changing. Lana says, I heard we charge points for origination. Is that true? It kills us if the case is against credit unions only charging $400 to $700 in fees. 2 points to that. Yes, it is true. And the origination fee, it's different in wholesale, retail, that type of thing. It's typically anywhere between $199 and $299. And that is Figure's origination fee, not you, the LO. However, that along with notary are the only fees. So I can't speak exactly to the credit unions. I will tell you, most likely will not find a 30-year fixed term with a credit union. You will find a HE loan with a credit union, usually 20-year amortization. So be sure to compare. Everyone's needs different, right? So if someone's looking to get access to their equity quickly, they want a 30-year term, therefore bringing the payment down lower versus maybe a credit union's 20-year term. So you just have to really kind of compare apples to apples in that regard. But I do know what you're up against there, Lana. And what if we're using assets as income? Do we do this by entering the total balance of the IRA, 401k, etc.? Yes, you enter in the total balance or the total asset value. Our system, based on the borrower's age, there's one calculation for under 59 and a half, and there's one calculation for over 59 and a half. You don't have to worry about that calculation. And by the way, you'd have to almost be the coding on that, and to dive into it is pretty intensive. So that's where you would enter that in. Here's the real key on that, though. We're not going to review bank statements, and certainly not going to review asset bank statements. So they need to be accounts that can be linked digitally through the Plaid system. Anything I should add there, Alex?
Not necessarily. I think the biggest thing to me is really giving the borrower the benefit. And the reason for that, I would rather have more income than less, because the system, if they verify less income than what's stated, it may give them alternative offers. So it says, hey, you didn't verify 100,000, but you verified 80,000. Here's an offer for maybe a little bit less than what you were expecting.
Right.
It's still at a soft credit portion, one, and two, they can select that alternative offer, or they can try other methods to verify. It's not that big a deal. So it is something to consider. Again, gross income, talk to them about their bonus, talk to them about overtime, put those asset accounts in there. You know, it is something where, again, I would rather have the full amount of income. Then when they get to income verification, great. They can link up those accounts and they're ready to go. Just keep in mind that the methods don't stack. And what I mean by that is, say they link up checking or taxes, it's going to take the higher of the two. So just keep that all in mind, but they'll have plenty of options to link up on the application.
By the way, it's actually a really great point on how the system is going to use. By the way, this is not, we would all agree as loan originators on this call, we would agree that we don't often have the luxury of using the highest income, meaning whatever the most sourced income is. And if it's lower, we all know in a traditional sense, we typically have to use the lower amount, not in our system. So just to repeat what Alex said, someone verifies income linking to their personal bank statement, comes up as $60,000 a year. Great. Someone links to their tax transcripts, it actually shows 150,000. We're going to use the 150. We're not going to stack the two. We're not going to come up with one total by checking bank statements and tax transcripts, but we're going to use the highest income that can be verified digitally. So, and Deanna, you can probably reach out to us after this call. It looks like she got an IT call when we answered the question. So reach out to us offline, Deanna, and we'll dive into those questions for you again. What about Social Security income? They have to link up checking account. We cannot upload Social Security 1099s and hard copy bank statements. Two things here. One, if their Social Security income is being deposited into their personal bank accounts, you absolutely can link to those accounts and our system will detect the income. If for some reason it's a bank account that does not link through the Plaid system, we will review IRS award letters, not 1099s, IRS award letters, VA award letters, pension income award letters, that type of thing. And then Anna Marie says, how does the LO get paid and how much can we charge? You'll want to reach out to your own internal resources there, wherever you're working, to find out what your pay and compensation is on this. And as far as how much can you charge, the answer is nothing. You do not add any additional fees to this file: processing, admin, underwriting, origination. Nothing else is added beyond how you see it at point of inquiry. Oh, and Alex, this is a big one. I just wanted to wait and get to it, but we'll do it now. Being asked, can we show that debt screen again? You know,
Oh yeah, absolutely. The asset depletion screen.
The asset depletion and also listing the IntelliDebt stuff, which,
Oh,
by the way, is
absolutely.
it really depends on your model. We're pretty much set up across the board with this. Certainly, with our figure wholesale partners and a handful of our retail partners have this going. So if you don't have this in your system, reach out to us, and then we'll connect you with the who's who at your company to see if we can get that going for you.
It's spooky how much your clients can save.
Wow, you just couldn't help it, could you, Alex?
I gotta, yeah. All right, so this is going to be the asset depletion screen. The reason that this is appearing for me right now is because everything else is perfect, but the DTI is too high. In this case, I stated 20,000 as their yearly gross amount. If I wanted to, I can just simply update that. I can look at that and go, whoop, that was a typo. I'm going to add another zero onto that, let's say. I can also state asset accounts like Tim was talking about. I can put in those retirement accounts, savings account, investment accounts, so on and so forth here. And if we scroll down, now we have the debt payoff. So with this, this is going to detect personal loans and auto loans at this time for them to pay off. And that's via soft credit pull via method. So it's saying, hey, we can pay off these accounts and it'll help them qualify. Anything you want to add on there, Tim?
No, the only other point I want to drive home here is real quick is remember this scenario and the inquiry that we're doing right now is when a borrower's DTI is too high, this screen shows up and several things are happening here. You can modify the traditional annual income. You can add assets for asset depletion. And if there are auto or personal loans, and by the way, we've also just rolled out home improvement loans are now live. So you will see these loans that populate on this screen, these other liabilities, I should say, and these will lower the DTI. If you don't see any debts here on this screen to pay off, it's because there are no debts that will lower the DTI. Okay? Ask any questions away on that in the chat if you guys need. What will be coming is credit card payments as well. We're working on that now as to whether or not, you know, how we can lower the DTI by paying off credit cards.
All right, I'm gonna hit save and continue. Let's see what happens. I just want to see what our test website does. No products were available. That's okay. $20,000 was still a bit too low, I think, for offers. Now, I do want to show you really quickly because I just had to play around with it just a little bit. So if no offers are available, it is going to show up under your screen as no offers. We can go into the details. It's going to show you why. So it'll tell you a reason, lien verification here. So there's some good documentation, and I'll send that out as well in an email after the fact of all the different reasons. Keep in mind, it's soft credit, and your borrower is not going to receive anything if no offers are available. So you're still going to be in the driver's seat. You can look at this and go, great, I'm going to have a soft credit pull information, their FICO score. I'm going to have an AVM amount with an appraisal document in here. Let's move on to something else then. But you'll have the reasoning why no offers are available. Just double check it wasn't like an input error. Make sure you put in a, an annual amount for income. Make sure all their information is correct. You can always rerun as many inquiries as you like. It never hurts.
Awesome. So Marcus asked the question, I thought there was a way for a client to see their offers and move the slide back and forth to what they want the loan amount to be and rate and cost. And Marcus, you are correct across the board on that. So not only do you, the loan originator, get to move the slider back and forth, you could leave it at the max amount. Whatever the case is, you do need to pick an offer that is then going to be presented to the borrower. However, the borrower absolutely sees that same screen when they work through the application, and they can modify their offer. Okay. By the way, you would be notified on that. You will receive, as the loan originator, you'll receive an email letting you know that the borrower has made their final offer choice. And then you could log back in and see exactly what that is. And Jason, Jason Brothers, you've never seen the triage options before. And actually, I'm running a blank on that myself. Do you want to know what triage options button he's referring to at all? Alex?
Yes, that is because I am special. I am sorry. The reason you guys don't see that is because I am a little bit on the engineer side of things, so I get a special button that you won't have entrance to. So just ignore it completely. That's a vampire secret.
And an anonymous attendee says, do we all plan on increasing our comp payout soon? Also, when will you roll out personal loan link? So I want to dive into that. One, I'm not aware of any conversations, not to say they're not happening, but I'm not personally aware of any conversations regarding increasing comp level payouts. Keep in mind that that type of conversation also has a direct effect on rates. And so, you know, every partner for the most part is the same, wholesale, retail, you know, that type of thing. However, I'm not aware of any conversations. Now, on the rollout of a personal link, if you happen to be in the wholesale channel, there is not a personal link, and that is a RESPA thing, everybody. In order to receive compensation, the compliance rules say you have to do as a loan officer, I don't know, 5 or 6 different pieces. And that was in fact what led to the creation of the lead portal. In a retail model, there is a direct link ability. However, I will share with you all that as neat as that is, and it does work well, the pull through when using the inquiry tool when first navigating with your borrower is right at a 50% higher pull through rate when using the inquiry tool. So as neat as having that link is, I'm still a big fan of leading on the inquiry tool. There are some great use cases for that link, but I love the lead portal.
Now, we do have some hands raised with some questions. I don't know if we want to get some people on the line here. See if
We
the
can try.
functionality
It's
works.
never worked for us before, Alex, but
It
yeah,
worked
let's
on
get...
one webinar. I got it working once. Chris, I do see your hand is raised. I'm going to allow you to talk. Let's see if we can get you to unmute and talk on here. If not, that's perfectly fine. I can edit the recording.
Yeah, for whatever reason, that doesn't work for us, Alex.
One time, I swear. All righty. Well, we'll move on. Please post then all questions in the Q&A box for me, please, and I will continue to fight Zoom over their options.
And then Fabricia has another quick question, and he or she may have missed it. So for pay stubs and W-2s, does it have to be verified through Plaid? We will review pay stubs. Your path of least resistance will always be to have the borrowers connect to their personal bank accounts. However, W-2s we do not review. So we will physically review pay stubs and award letters, pension, IRS, VA, that type of thing. However, on a W-2 wage earner, the best way, the fastest path, if you will, is for them to link to their personal bank accounts. And if they can't, well, then yes, they can. The borrower can upload the pay stubs. Remember, once you're done with the inquiry and you've sent it off to your client, it's really borrower driven at that point. The borrower has a chat bubble on their screen that they can communicate directly with our customer service team, as well as a phone number the borrower can call into should they be having any issues or anything. Also, the other question regarding debts to pay off. So it's a great point you make. So currently, we can only pay off secured assets versus unsecured debts, right? That's close to the response. Right now, there's 2 elements to this. There's all kinds of debts that if you receive an offer, you and or the borrower could choose to pay off all sorts of different debts that will come up on the list: credit cards, auto loans, personal loans, now home improvement loans. And that there's no harm, no foul in that. However, when it comes to qualifying, the only debts that will lower DTI are in fact personal loans and auto loans. And then credit cards to lower DTI will be a fast follow, hopefully before December, with any luck at all. Oh, it's a great question. Are you guys planning on allowing adjustments on a file in progress versus declining it and resubmitting it? So I want to clarify a couple pieces here. What you're most likely referring to, and you can give me a thumbs up if I'm on the right pace here, but you may be working on a file with a borrower. You get halfway through only to find out their name was spelled wrong. Right now, today in our system, that requires the file to be canceled, not declined, canceled, and then a new inquiry started with the proper spelling. So one, it's not a decline that's resulting in the new origination. It's usually a correction that needs to be made. And there is, just as a reminder, no going backwards in time in our files right now today. However, this is actually being worked on. This is a top priority. The engineer and product team are working on this as we speak to see what fields can we go backwards in time and edit to prevent that. So keep an eye on enhancements, updates, which of course is one of the big portions that we dive into on webinars as we go. Will we be adding the ability to pay off debts in Texas anytime soon? Alex, I think we're doing that now, are we not?
We are doing that now. Of course, it does depend on the partnership if they
Partner,
allow
right.
teledebt, but Texas should be allowed to pay off debt through that method pool, especially through figure wholesale.
Yeah, I know we can't even adjust. Oh, you know what? You can adjust loan amounts and such without having to cancel and redo. It's really important, however, to understand that it's done on the borrower end. Reef, chime in here. Aren't there two different points on the borrower flow where the borrower can modify their offer early on in the beginning?
Yeah. So once you submit the inquiry, if you're going that route, they're going to see what the loan originator selected for them, and then the borrower will be able to modify and confirm what they like. They will also be able to do that throughout the application until they get to the final offer stage, which is post income verification. So hard credit gets pulled, it confirms the offers, and then that'll be the last time they'll be able to modify and change. Once they confirm their final offers, and they move forward past that, and they're doing their note signing, they can no longer modify as of right now.
Excellent. Thank you for the answer there. And Deanna, I've not heard any discussion of second homes or investment in Texas being opened up. And that again is a whole different machine in Texas there, as you I'm sure know. Oh, actually, saying if they're stuck on income verification, they can't just adjust the loan amount to bring the DTI in line. By the way, the system will do that for them. And here's what I mean by that. We stated they make 100,000, but they only verify 80. If in fact that verified amount of income would result in any sort of offer, the system will give them that new offer. However, what I've typically seen is the income was verified as lower and it still wouldn't qualify even at the lowest loan amount from a DTI perspective. And if that's the case, then you're correct. They'll be stuck at income verification. There will be no new modified offers presented if even our lowest loan amount still doesn't qualify them. So make sure to look at that detail screen and take a look at what that post-loan DTI is. If it's like 60, 70, well, there's a good chance even the lower loan amount would not qualify for them. Oh, great question. How long does the borrower have to hold it on additional 40,000? Or she can make a payment that is accessed when needed. Okay. Everything a borrower is going to receive is going to show that they can pay off as much as they want anytime they want. There is, to be clear, no prepayment penalty to the homeowner at all. The borrower could, in the scenario, let's see here, it just went away on me, is approved for 60,000. They could take all 60 as a reminder, which I'm sure you're all aware is a full draw at close. They'll get their $60,000. And if they turned right around in your scenario and paid $40,000 back, that's okay. Here's the good news. The payment will automatically recast down in this case based on the balance owed. So anytime 10% of the principal balance or more is paid down, the payment will automatically recast, and then they can start doing redraws at that point immediately. Yes, John, you had one in an irrevocable trust, and to be clear, it has to be a revocable trust. By the way, a little tip and trick there for all of us as originators. Some of you do this, I'm sure, as part of your normal business on any traditional loan. When you're working with a client, it's a good practice to always ask them if they know how title is held on the property. By the way, I will just share with you that I see time and time again homeowners, because they're the ones that answer the question, how is the title held? Is it single, joint, or sole, joint, or trust? And we see a lot where homeowners will say, oh, I own it joint, me and my spouse, only to find out at the 11th hour it's in a trust. This is a great thing for you all to ask your borrowers early on in the process. Set the stage. If they're not sure, and if you have the ability to pull a property profile somewhere, pull a property profile real quick and see how title is held. That way you can set the proper expectation for the borrower.
And just to reiterate on that even more is because we need a certificate of trust to review. We need to confirm all that because at the end of the application, right, a real human in our ops center reviews it. We need to make sure there's no discrepancies. Everything looks good. We can change the ownership type. So if they select joint, we can change it over to trust. We don't need to have canceled the whole thing out, but we just need to make sure we catch it early so that everything looks good. We can get them through. So really just kind of do that power user move of making sure everything's good ahead of time, pulling the property data, checking everything, setting them up for success. So it is a quick application experience. So we don't have to contact them, you know, in pulling all this information, taking longer than it should.
John, I'm going to want to connect with you offline because you submitted a new application for the same borrower that was in an irrevocable trust. So I'm not quite sure what would have been going on there. So can we please connect? Alex, can you please put our sales success email, or Reef, in the chat, please?
Yeah, I did. Yes,
and-
I can re-put it as well.
Yeah, and let's grab some time together, John, if you don't mind. And Craig asked, does the debt payoff screen show up in the application process, or does it only show up when DTI is a scenario? It will show up if it depends on your partnership model. Okay, so again, if you want to reach out to us offline, I can tell you exactly where it will or won't show up for you, and take those steps. But it will show up when you have offers, not only when you're trying to do lower the DTI. So it will show up on traditional offers. And what about EPO? This also, again, everybody differs depending on the partner. So I would just ask that you reach out to our team and we can have that conversation with you. In traditional fashion, if and when there is an EPO scenario, it's 90% or more being paid back in the first 16 weeks is the only time there would be a fear of EPO. No prepayment penalty on re-injecting some of the funds back in. You are exactly right. There is no prepayment penalty ever to the homeowner. It is 16 weeks on any topic regarding EPO, and how much will the LTV trigger this? Not totally sure I'm understanding that question, actually.
So 90% or more, I think, is that golden rule there. So for at least no LTV or anything applicable, just 90% or more within 16 weeks. That's the rule if it applies to your organization. Not everyone on the call today this may apply to.
I love this comments. By the way, your customer department is great. By the way, I appreciate the feedback. Now it's an anonymous attendee. So is that someone from our customer department actually saying that we're great? You never know, right? But they are great. And actually we continue to expand on that. Oh, John, he took it out of the trust. Again, we need to talk, my friend, because I'll just say this, and then we'll have to talk offline and see. If he took it out of the trust, it's a change of ownership, and you're in a 90-day waiting period. And so, and that's across the board. There's no. I have tried to escalate and push back and say, wait a minute, it went from this owner in a trust to the same owner in title, and there is no No winning that battle. Marcus, they put in the chat. I'll say it out loud. It's salessuccess@figure.com. And you can certainly reach out to us there. One of the three of us, we all see the inbox. It'll either most likely either be Alex or Reef that will reach back out to you and invite you to use our link in our email signature to schedule time on our calendar. We will do one-offs. We will do office meetings. We will do whatever you need to help dive in and get a better understanding. And yes, it was 90%. Oh, credit card debts to be paid off to qualify. We are looking, I'm hoping by the end of November. And I was just on a meeting about that yesterday. We are working through it. Actually, Alex or Reef, I'm going to let you take this. Is there a way to rerun Plaid or get the machine? I love that. Get the machine to relook at Plaid for a new account. And I'll just make this statement, and then you guys can keep me honest here. The borrower can log back into the portal and add more accounts, correct?
Yeah, correct. Reef, correct me if I'm wrong on this, but there is a way for us to disconnect from Plaid accounts. Keep me honest here. I think that's more of like a manual intervention. We don't do it every time. But with Plaid, what I would usually suggest, have them log in, have them try to reconnect those accounts. A lot of the times too, what happens is a lot of borrowers will get really stuck on like connecting something via Plaid when they can just absolutely connect like their IRS.gov account, verify via taxes is like an option where they could literally verify in a minute or two. I've seen this happen all the time where they get stuck on one method where they don't try another method that can get them verified in a minute or two. But I cannot stress enough, we are here for you. So especially in a situation like John or someone else, let us take a look at it. Let us help you. Same thing with our customer ops, right? Our operations team is absolutely fantastic, as we're seeing in the chat. So we can take a look at it. There's not like a way, I don't believe, on the application for the user to remove the account, but they should be able to just log in, hit connect account, reconnect it, should rerun. If not, let us take a look at it. Let's help you out. Let's get someone through. Let's get funding. That's the fun thing I like.
Yeah, I love this. There's another question here. After the borrower obtains funds from the HELOC, so it's all done at funds, the borrower receives the funds. Your platform allows the borrower to pay all their debts that appear in the credit report. So two things here I just want to clarify. When the borrower receives funds, they fund the loan, and they've not chosen to pay off any debts in that traditional scenario. The borrower can do whatever they want with their funds. That's the truth of the matter. If they want to pay off all their debts outside of this transaction, and by the way, that is the number one use case. If in fact they did $100,000, they had offers for $100,000, and they choose to pay off $30,000 worth of debt within the platform. You guys are all, if you're in that model and that's working for you, then what would happen is the borrower would receive 70, and the other 30 is paid directly to the debtors. To the liabilities to be paid off. So the borrower actually doesn't have to do anything in regards to facilitating paying off those liabilities, other than choose which ones they want to pay off. Oh, this is a great, Matt, I love this. How you doing, Matt? That's a great question is,
Really
are there
good.
best practices for marketing the HELOC? You do have access. Okay, that's awesome. There are several things. One, with where you're partnered up with, Matt, they do, I believe, have some marketing materials in there as well. Alex, we might be able to send some off as well. Do we still have access to that folder that
Oh
we can
yeah,
share?
so I'll send an email after the fact. I'll put some marketing material in there as well that you can access.
You would need to brand them to yourself, Matt, but I'm sure you can navigate that or have some folks on your team that can help you with that. I will tell you this, for good marketing practices, I want to share with you all that Alex and I earlier this year, back in May, I believe it was, I was asked to come out to a real estate function in Reno and did some keynote speaking as well as emceed their big sales rally event and whatnot that they had. And so while there, they had roughly about 20 LOs out of the 800 real estate agents that were there. So we did, Alex and I, some quick high-level figure training, product, tech, that type of thing. What kind of caught us both off guard was how much interest the realtors had in this product. And when I say it caught me off guard is I've been a originator at one level or another for the last 25 plus years. And it never dawned on me that why these realtors loved it. And this is what they told us. They said, listen, we have databases full of homeowners that we sold homes to 5 years ago that have sub 4% rates. They're not in any hurry to move or leave that low rate. However, the realtors felt that they could show that those past clients of theirs opportunities to access their equity to buy second homes, investment properties, maybe use the money to rehab their existing property, to maybe look at reselling it or that type of thing. And so that's a great marketing opportunity. If you're not already talking to your referral partners about this, you should. Another great opportunity, which is a huge topic for everyone right now, and that is folks are staying in their homes longer. Again, this comes back to being in love with their interest rate, correct? And so what they're now finding is that they're renovating their existing property. ADUs are a big topic, kitchen remodels, windows, HVAC, you name it, across the spectrum. If you have any of your past clients or maybe referral partners that are contractors, solar companies, kitchen builders, whatever the case is, have this conversation with them to show them how you can quickly show that homeowner how to access funds. By the way, it's a great opportunity because in that scenario, you're most likely attracting brand new clients and doing it at the same time of building a referral partner relationship with that contractor. So those are some great use cases on that. Are we planning on doing first mortgages under our platform? To be clear, we will do first lien position now, and the rate actually improves by 0.5% right out of the gate in first lien position. And yes is the answer on additional product offerings. I'll tease everybody with this a little bit. We are actually working right now on launching a piggyback scenario, both for purchase and refi, and purchase will be big. It'll be the first time we've done that. So again, keep your eye open on that. And these things are going to be coming very, very soon, by the way. This is not like next year sometime. It'll happen this year.
It right now, in fact.
Yeah, they are marketing it right now. In fact, you'll see it on LinkedIn. And so again, it's coming down to a partner by partner basis. We're doing some beta testing on this. I would just ask for some patience and as well feedback. Everything that we're doing, the moves we're making, if I'm being honest, everybody, it is all from feedback from you, our partners, both existing and future. So keep the feedback coming. Max loan amount. Yes, we're getting asked that too. Now, I don't know where that it would be on the conversation of topics and how soon we would be looking at that, but we are getting that feedback as well to boost the loan amounts beyond the 400K max that we're at now. So again, more news to come on that in the future. You know, Alex, I want to share my screen if that's okay. And I guess it is because you're not sharing yours. So
you're in charge here. I don't know. You do what you want. You're the rocker. Get
Oh,
on stage.
boy, that's loosely said. I'm in charge. Oh boy. Okay. I am going to look like I'm looking away. I'm going to see, can I drag? No, I probably can't. I won't do it. I'm going to look like I'm looking away from the camera, everybody. And I'm sorry for that. This is, I don't know if we have any Mortgage Coach users on the call. I hope we do. For those of you that don't know much about me, I have been a industry long time user of Mortgage Coach, adopted it early on in my career, right as it came out. I absolutely love it. So what I wanted to illustrate for everybody here is really how big a potential opportunity is. So here's a borrower on the far left column that currently has a loan at a 3.5% interest rate. Okay. Now, if that borrower has a need for cash, and let's be clear, so many homeowners have a need for cash, again, the biggest of which being debt. I think the number is what, 1.3 trillion now, I think, in our country of consumer and revolving debt. So it is a real pain point. So that borrower may very well be considering a cash out refinance, especially because if they turned on the news, what did they see a couple of weeks ago? They said, oh, interest rates were just lowered by 0.5%. Well, we all know that song and dance as to all the pricing improvements had already been built in. And now we've actually seen rates trickle back up, interestingly enough, since that time. So I went in and priced out a cash out refinance to 80% loan to value using a 700 FICO score. Now, I don't want to get into a conversation regarding comp and all that because everyone's pricing can be different. However, I priced this out as lender paid in the wholesale world, and the interest rate was 8.125% for cash out transaction. Here's what it just blows me away on these loan to value or LLPs, loan level price adjustments. In that scenario, it's just over 2 points in discount cost for a cash out transaction to 80% loan to value. Okay. So the borrower gets their $83,000. That's cool. Their payment went up $1,400. We could have a long conversation about what they did with that money. Did their total outgo really go out that much if they paid off 2 cars and so on and so forth? But the point I want to drive home is, what if, let me unclick these. What if the borrower actually kept their existing rate at 3.5% and added a line of credit also up to that same 80%? Here's what I want to point out, everybody. The blended rate is 5.412. The blended rate when looking at that number versus a cash out rate of this 8.125 is significant. Okay. So when you're having my advice, if you will, is if you're not having these conversations with your homeowners, start having them regarding a blended rate perspective. The opportunity is real here, and so many homeowners don't realize it, right? That's why they need us. And more importantly, you, excuse me, to have these conversations. If you have a total cost analysis like a mortgage coach platform, or maybe you have MBS Highway where you can do a debt consolidation or blended rate calculators. If you have a blended rate calculator, take advantage of that. And really, how I like to say it over the years is I always felt my job was to very simply educate, advise, and strategize as to what worked best for my client. And if we can do those things and help walk the borrower down the best path, then they can make a decision as to what works for them. Also, I mentioned a few minutes ago that we're working on Piggyback. I want to share with you all that I actually think there's a huge opportunity there from a refinance perspective, which is why we're leaning so heavily on getting this out quickly. What do I mean by that? If you have a client that you did a purchase transaction for over the last 2 years, let's say their interest rate might be 7.75%. We will all agree that you could do a rate and term refinance for them, dropping their rate significantly. Awesome, cool. Take advantage of that. You guys should all be having those types of conversations with those clients. However, it doesn't satisfy that homeowner's cash needs. So how could you handle that? You could do the rate and term first, and you could add the HELOC behind it to give them the access to the cash needs they have. By the way, the loan level price adjustment for adding a CLTV all the way up to 90 is 0.625. That's the loan level price adjustment between Fannie and Freddie, regardless of the CLTV. So think about that, take it seriously, use it as another strategy, educate, advise, strategize. I love it. I love having those conversations. So I hope you all found that helpful. I should probably post that somewhere, huh, Alex?
And we got some requests in the chat for it, so we'll send that
Yeah.
out if you can in a link in that email, and I'll send you all just kind of a recap email with a whole bunch of goodies. Halloween treat from Alex.
There it is. We said tricks and treats. So there were some other questions I was going on. Oh yeah, best practices for marketing the HELOC. So again, I just want to recap that contractors are a good opportunity. Realtors are a very good opportunity. We're seeing a ton of success there. And of course, obviously your past clients, you know, sometimes we as loan originators, we sit back and we react to the phone calling, and someone asks us, hey, we were thinking about getting a line of credit. Listen, everybody, make this your first attempt. I'm not here to say every single homeowner you put in the system will result in offers. but I will tell you that's actually okay even when you don't get offers. Now, why would I say that? I say that because it will take you 2 minutes to get to that point. So save and protect your time. And even if you don't have offers, you'll use that inquiry tool. You won't have offers in some cases. You'll now have a soft credit score and you'll have an AVM giving you an idea of value. And you will now have enough additional information to shift gears and maybe see if there's a different strategy. So remember, not everything's going to fit in the box. And can I also just say, there isn't a lender that has a loan for every homeowner in the country. So keep it in perspective. Understand the real magic is the tech and that inquiry tool. And I just feel strongly to my core about that. Have I missed any? Oh, what does a trust take? 3 days. I mean, roughly, Reef, do you have some feel on that for COT? Certificate of trust review, by the way, not full trust. We're only going to ask the borrower to upload the certificate of trust.
Yeah, I actually just answered that. Sorry,
Oh,
Tim.
did you?
Yeah, but it's a great question. So typically we quote 1 to 3 days, business days for review, with like bandwidth and timeline and how our ops team, like just depending on how much they have on their plate, it could take longer. What I recommend is requesting an expedited review. When you do that, or you have your borrower do that, it pushes their file to the front. That 1 to 3 days is for files that have no request for expediting. So have your borrower use the chat feature. It's located in their application portal on the bottom right. And they'll talk to a live agent within seconds and they could say, hey, I turned in my certificate of trust. I'm requesting to expedite. And then typically same day they'll get reviewed with that request to expedite. And they can also call in as well. But if they're quiet, then it's just going to be done in chronological order as is. So
Awesome. Thank you. By the way, Jason Brothers, I just love Jason. He's just keeping us honest here. So Jason, I'm happy to report that as we roll this out, and we're doing this at a partner by partner basis right now, as we're proof of concept. But I will tell you that as we roll out the piggyback program, you're not going to believe what I'm about to tell you. We are actually going to be using your existing first lien underwrite, think AUS there, your appraisal, and we are simply going to be adding the HELOC behind it. It will not be an inquiry on our end, but rather you just uploading your approval on your appraisal, and a few other pieces. And so, yes, we will be closing them concurrently at the same time, both in purchase and refi scenarios. Yes, it is amazing, Jason. Thank you. Yep. Won't move forward.
Good question.
Oh, it has a great, yeah, that's a great question. By the way, this has come up recently on some product and engineering calls that I've been on. Is there a way for us to modify the order in which those disclosures? We all love the topic of compliance, right? So just know, I don't know if it's going to move. I think they have to be right out of the gate. But Alex, when the borrower first sees those disclosures, is there anything indicating or glaring that it's not a commitment to?
Yeah, so they're going to be more or less dictated that they're not bound by the terms. There is going to be more or less a receipt of the offer that's been selected. My advice when it comes to this is that to let them know, hey, you're going to have to agree to these, if you have a broker borrower agreements, you're not going to be bound to these terms, because what's going to happen right after the fact is they're going to customize their offer and they can change it however they like. They can also, if they ever decide, they can always just stop the application, right? We're only going to pull hard credit near the end after income verification. What I usually like to also advise, and I can send this also in the email, is we have a really good customer-facing borrower flow demo video. It's good to see what the borrower goes through. It's also really good to include in like an email to say, hey, this is what you're going to go through. This is what you can see, to kind of preemptively show them the application flow, but to also let them know. And I always tell LOs this, hey, set them up for success by letting them know you're going to click on a link, you're going to set a password to make an account. You're going to have to go through. It's just, these documents are here to kind of link our account with you as the LO. It's going to show my information, my organization. But then the next thing is you're going to customize that offer. And again, they're not bound to anything, and they can customize that. And just like Reef said earlier, they can also adjust their final offer if they make, any decisions after hard credit's pulled. So I usually just really preemptively let them know how the application is going to flow and let them know everything that they're going to go through. So when they see it, they know exactly what it is. They know what's going to come afterwards. So none of it's a surprise.
It's actually a great point. And, for, again, all of us as loan originators on the call, I'll take you all back in time real quick. I can remember as I was, originating loans full time, I would broker a loan out at the time. And I would always have to preface with the borrower, listen, I need you to sign all my, this is back in the ink signing of disclosure days. And what would happen is I would have the borrower sign all those initial disclosures, and then the lender that I submitted the loan to would also send their sets of disclosures. And so disclosures have always been that interesting topic. So Alex, your point is a good one. The more you can set the expectation with the borrower on day one, the better, right? Like being able to say to a borrower, okay, here's your offers. I'm going to hit proceed. Keep an eye out, open for an email. And when you first click on the link, you'll first acknowledge the disclosures, but don't worry, that's not the final paperwork. It's just to get the process started. That would be my talking point around that, I suppose. And Alex, we are literally right at time, or maybe even 1 minute over. This has been a ton of fun. This is our Halloween edition. Are we going to do a Christmas, a holiday edition as well? We might have
absolutely. Pretty much every holiday that comes up. Thanksgiving, Christmas. We could do a Valentine's Day one. I'll get you all Valentine's Day cards. It'll be fun.
We've got Dr. Reef, the doctor of sales success. We've got the magic man, Alex, creating the magic for figure. And then, of course, we got the sales success rock star.
Absolutely.
And listen, we love the feedback. Keep an eye open for communication, post-webinar communication back from the team. Alex will be sending out emails recapping everything. Questions, concerns, feedback. You will, if you don't know now, you will when Alex sends the email, know how to reach out to us. And we welcome that. If you want to schedule time with your individually or your sales teams and your offices, heck, we're even up for making in-person visits if we can navigate it. So just let us know. We want to do everything we can to help you. It is a great time to be in the mortgage industry, everybody. Make no mistake about it. All of your past and future clients have a need. So do what we can to help find out what best product fits their need and go from there. And keep an eye on future enhancements. We're continuing to improve and enhance the platform, as you all have seen. So thank you, everybody.
Happy Halloween.